to get on here and talk to you guys a bit about trauma, about samskaras, karmic impressions, karmic habits, karmic patterns, all right? What is trauma? What is trauma to you? What does trauma feel like? What does trauma look like? Trauma can be seen as a physical injury to the body, a disturbing or distressing event, or an event that overwhelms one coping mechanism. Well, what's a coping mechanism? It's a behavior that is aimed to avoid stress or unpleasant emotions. Okay? Your body's purpose is to survive, is to protect. And your body will put in place coping mechanisms to help maintain its health, to help maintain its vitality. Okay? If you ever notice anyone who is experiencing anxiety or is extremely anxious, you might start to notice them fidget or playing with objects around them or rubbing on their thighs, their arms. That's their body way of trying to cope with that stressor. All right? Now, there's two types of coping mechanisms. There's problem focus that eliminates or changes the source of stress. All right? Now, this can be done by relocating or removing yourself from persons or places or things that are causing that stress. All right? Emotion focused, which helps focus to change, or that helps change the way that you react to stress. It helps change the way that you react to stress. All right? Now, when we think about trauma onto the body, well, first, your nervous system. Your nervous system stores all of your soul's memory. All that you've gone through in this lifetime and a past lifetime, it is stored in your nervous system, okay? Now, when we think about trauma can show up as tension within the body, as physical chronic pain, or it can show up as other manifestations within the body. Illness, sickness, disease, all right? So when we're working with this body memory also has an impact at a cellular level. Okay, hence why we are transmuting, why we want to evolve, why we want to change and transmute our DNA. It's because stress degrades DNA. All right, it changes the gene expression from generation to the next. All right, stay with me, guys. All right, so when we talk about samskaras, we're talking about these impressions, okay, that were left onto the nervous system. All right, and these impressions can be a perception. It could be your senses, what you've experienced through your senses, right? And it can also be actions, okay? So your actions, your perception, and things that are absorbed through the senses are the impressions that are left onto your nervous system, okay? These are mental impressions. These are recollections. These are psychological imprints, all right? And these impressions are left onto your nervous system, all right? And these impressions are stored in your chitta, which is known as your subconscious mind, all right? Hence, why sleeping is so important, because we do a lot of our healing while we're sleeping. Our subconscious mind is processing the day-to-day, your daily actions, your sensory, all that you took in through your senses, your perception, your actions from that day, all right? So that's why I always say sleeping is very, very important, okay? Now, the mind cannot be changed unless these impressions are brought up to the surface to be either transformed, transmuted, to be purged, to be let go of. Hence why we do yoga, breath work, movement, working with the energetic body, so we can allow that stagnant energy, that impressions, to come up to the surface, to be felt, to be seen, to be heard, to be let go of. All right? And that's the only way to begin to transforming or changing those karmic patterns into healthier patterns. All right? Now, just want to take a moment to pause for a second. I'm going to check over my notes. I did check over everything, but I want to make sure that I mention this. If you're someone that believes in past lives, there's something called Vasana. Okay, these are webs of unconscious impressions that are generated by karma from previous lifetimes, all right? Hence why we talk about healing our ancestors, all right? So think about the trauma that our ancestors have gone through, okay? And that impression that it was left onto the body, the DNA, the cell, all right? What is hence then passed on to the following bloodline, the next generation. So not only are you healing the trauma that you have experienced within this lifetime, but you have also experiencing the trauma or healing the trauma that your ancestors have gone through in their lifetime. So you could be healing past lifetime trauma as well, because trauma is stored within the DNA. And the only way to transmute or to change that DNA is to go within and allow those karmic impressions to rise up to the surface to be healed. Are you guys still with me? All right. And I think that's all I had on my notes. That's it. So, because healing is not linear. It's not. I can sit here all day just talking about trauma. Okay, so there's many things that we can talk about, but I don't want to go too far into depth and lose you guys. One step at a time, baby. One step at a time. All right? So start to understand what trauma is and how that trauma has an effect on the body. Okay? Your physical body, your emotional body, your energetic body, your mental body. How does this trauma affect you as a whole? Okay? And when we talk about healing our ancestors, we're healing our DNA. We're healing our DNA. Okay? When we go through trauma, we leave that impression onto our nervous system, which has a major effect onto our cells, our DNA. And stress degrades DNA. Okay? Stress degrades DNA, and it changes the gene expression. So if your ancestors experienced a lot of trauma, you could be someone who has to heal a lot of that trauma now in this lifetime. Sometimes we're not healing what we've gone through in this lifetime, but we're healing what our ancestors have gone through in our previous lifetime. Well, in their previous lifetime. Right? So take the time to understand your body's coping mechanisms. How do you cope with stress? How do you manage stress? What are you doing to relieve that tension within the body? What are you doing to regulate your nervous system? To help heal your nervous system, to help heal those karmic impressions, those samkaras. All right? That's all I got for you guys. I love you guys.